exclusive details. Behind me is, of course, Tribunal de Paris. You know this building. I showed it to you a short while ago. The hearing is about to start in the next half an hour in the Vinesh Phogat versus UWW case. Just to give you an idea, 4 French lawyers are arguing the case for Vinesh, as well as IOA has appointed 2 other legal minds in Harish Salve, very famous lawyer as you all know in India. Alongside him, Vidushpat Singhania, another lawyer who's an expert in sports law. They're going to be amicus curiae, which is also assisting and helping the court in making a judgment. It's going to be a one judge bench who's going to decide, and the judgment could come today or it has to come before the Olympic Games end. But this is the important bit. What I'm going to share with you is exclusive now of what is the argument that Vinesh and her lawyers are going to make. Because remember, UWW followed the law, they followed the rules and disqualified her. Okay, that's within the laws. But now I'm giving you exclusive details as to what will be their arguments. So what they are saying, what Vinesh's lawyers will say, that her weight gain was not a case of fraud. Vinesh's lawyers are going to argue that it's not a case of fraud. See, if she was trying to gain some unfair advantage, then you can punish her. But in this case, she was not trying to gain any unfair advantage. It happened as a natural process. They said, see, on day 1, her weight was within limit, which means she was fine. She wasn't overweight. She wasn't gaining any unfair advantage by being overweight and being heavier than others, which is, which can become crucial in boxing. What they are arguing is, hey, on day 1, she was fine. Now, after having 3 bouts on day 1, the body, natural process of the body is recovery, and for recovery you have to give athletes some salts, some carbohydrates and all that nutrition, and it's only based on that carbohydrate and nutrition that she ended up being 100 grams overweight. So what they're saying is that that's a fundamental right. They're going to argue on the fact that this is the athlete's or any person's fundamental right to give its body the food needed for recovery. If she does not do that, she can, it can be a threat to her, and then you are taking away her fundamental right to be eating, to be feeding herself. So that is the argument that they're going to be making in court, saying, listen, penalize an athlete when they're trying to commit fraud or trying to take undue advantage or an extra advantage over others. In this case, she was not trying to do it. She was within the weight limit on day 1. On day 2, she's trying to give her body some salt, which is needed. And they're trying to argue that each body is different. Certain bodies, there is requirement to be fed in certain way in terms of, the nutritions that you have to give them right after competition. And so she just followed that. And the court must look at this, and if it is a fundamental right, then her appeal should be upheld. If the court does take that view, then they can award her the silver, or the court otherwise can say, no, these rules were in place. If you needed to do that recovery, and if recovery forces you to gain a few kilos more, then you have to be slightly more underweight and then come into the competition. That's why weight categories are. That's also the view that court can take and dismiss her appeal and not give her the silver medal. 2 ways. It'll have to be seen how the court looks at it, these arguments. But if it was to rule in Vinesh's favor, not only will she be given a silver medal, it'll have repercussion for the sport. Going forward, you may then have a lot of other athletes argue the same case if they're slightly overweight, or you may have a situation where they will not even look at that weight on day 2. So on day 1 they test you, whatever is your weight, and if you're within the limit, then you participate. And for recovery, they will allow athletes to gain a few kilos if they need recovery time to be under that or to participate in that weight category. So whatever judgment comes will not only have repercussions for Vinesh, for India, for that medal, it'll have repercussions for the sport. So these are the latest details that I have for you. Once again, a reminder, 4 French lawyers. This is the building. Let me show you the building. This is the building where the hearing is going to happen. It's going to happen on the 29th floor of this building. And the 2 amicus curiae in Harish Salve, Vidushpat Singhania are going to join online, whereas the 4 French lawyers are going to be here. That's the latest. We'll keep updating you. The result could be out today, or it will be out in the next, could be tomorrow or day after. It has to be out before the Olympic Games end. That's that for the moment. Nikhil Nas signing off. Take care, guys. More updates coming up. Subscribe to Sports Today if you haven't already.